Good morning, students. Welcome to the data structure session. In today's topic, we are going to see about the representation of graph and the types of graph. In the previous classes itself, we saw some discussion about the types of graph, and in the last session, I have started the representation of graph. So, first let me complete the types of graph. All the types of graph, we have gone through it while taking the terminologies. There are so many terminologies we saw in graph. So in that we saw all these things. If a question is explain the types of graph means just you have to write all these types with example. That's all. Not at all so difficult. So first we saw directed and undirected graph. Simply an undirected graph is nothing but nodes are connected through edges. That is undirected graph if it is having arrow mark. If node A connected to node B means, if node A connected to node B through path A means, then that is called as directed graph. It means that there is no path from B to A, only there is path from A to B. Yes. Then connected and disconnected graph. If all the nodes are connected through some edges, that is called as connected graph. In any graph, in a complex graph or in any simple graph, if some nodes are disconnected means, if they are not part of the other nodes means, if any node is disconnected, if it is not having any edge means, that is called as disconnected graph. Then the third one is weighted graph. Yesterday we saw, we are connecting nodes through edges by assigning some values for the edges. That is called as weighted graph. You are going to assign some values, that is to the edges. That is called as the weighted graph. Then what do you mean by null or empty graph? Any graph having any number of vertices but no edges at all. That is null graph. Trivial graph means a graph having one vertex and no edge at all. That is trivial graph. But in null graph, you can have more than one vertices. That is the difference between null and the trivial graph. Then finally, we saw complete graph. What is a complete graph? A complete graph is nothing but a graph in which the degree must be same. The degree of all the vertices should be same. That is called as a complete graph. Yesterday I told about that one. So here. So this complete graph is applicable for either undirected graph or directed graph. So in a complete graph, all the nodes, all the vertices must have same degree. What is degree? How many edges are incident on the particular node? How many edges are connected to that particular node? That is called as degree. For undirected graph, how many edges are incident? But for a directed graph, how can we calculate degree? By summing in degree and out degree. Yes. So how many edges are leaving the particular vertex? That is called as out degree. How many edges entering that particular vertex? That is called as in degree. So you have to add both those degrees, that will become the degree of the particular vertex. If all the vertices are having equal number of degree, then that is called as a complete graph. So here, vertex 1, what is the degree here? So one edge is coming from V2, another edge from V3, another edge from V4. So degree is 3. So like that you have to compute for all the graphs. Okay. Sorry, all the vertices. That is the complete graph. Sorry. It can also be called as a regular graph. A complete graph can also be called as the regular graph. So these are the types of graph. Because we have seen almost all the parts of the graph. So I have completed this topic, types of graph. Yes. Now we move on to representation of graph. Yesterday just I stopped with adjacency matrix. I hope so. So there are 3 ways of representing graph. Adjacency matrix, incidence matrix, and then adjacency list. So these are the 3 ways. We can use any way to represent the graph. Normally we use the first one, adjacency matrix. But it's not necessary that we should use only adjacency. We can use either incidence or matrix or adjacency list also. Okay. Let us see one by one. Let's see all these representations one by one. A very important big question in the graph. I have seen so many terminologies, etc. Based on that, we saw what is adjacency, what are adjacency vertices. Yes. So now, with respect to part B question, this is a very important question, representation of graph. Then in the next class, we are going to see about traversal techniques. These are the most important questions. So first we'll move on to adjacency matrix. When two vertices will be adjacent, if there is a path from one node to other node. Okay, let me start with this itself, or we can go with a simple example. Yesterday I draw one simple example and I told also. Yes, you are familiar with it. I draw four vertices and I have mentioned that adjacency matrix, 4 by 4 matrix. Okay, so now let's see this itself. So here we are having 5 vertices. So obviously you have to construct what? 5 by 5 matrix. Okay, so when two nodes will be or said to be adjacent, if there is an edge between those two vertices, that means if for a particular edge, if there are two endpoints, means then that particular those nodes are said to be adjacent. Okay, so that in simple words I can put, if there is direct path from one node to other node, you have to put that particular path. You have to count the path and you have to write. That is called as the, in this way you have to construct the adjacency matrix. Okay, so here G equal to V comma E with n vertices. How many vertices we have? 5 vertices. So you are going to construct 5 by 5 matrix. How you are constructing means in such a way that A of I comma j equal to 1. I comma j means first row, first column, then first row, second column, first row, third column. Like that you have to move. Normal matrix only. When the value will be 1, if there is an edge from Vi to Vj, that means if there is an edge from vertex A to vertex B, means you have to put 1 to the corresponding A and B. The first one is the row, second is the column. So for A row, B column, you have to put it as 1. Yes. If there is no path, for example, from A to E, there is no path. Yes. From A to E, there is no edge. You can go through B only. There is no direct edge. Edge means it has to connect two vertices. That is the edge. So there is no edge between A and E. So for the particular or A and the E, you have to put it as 0. So A comma E will become 0. Yes. So these are the different representation. Look at the first example only. Got it? So from A, is there any self loop? Yesterday I told if there is self loop, you can put it as 1 for that node itself. There is no self loop from A to A, so put it as 0. A to B, there is path. Then A to C, path is there 1. A to D, path is there 1. A to E, no path, so 0. Now come to B. How many paths are there from B? B to A, B to D, and then B to E. So for A, D and E, put 1 for the corresponding node B. For other nodes, put it as 0. Similarly, come to C. How many edges are there from C? From C to A, C to D. Only 2 edges are there. So for those vertices, put it as 1. For other vertices, put it as 0. From D, look at it. There is self loop is there. Then what? D to A, there is edge. D to B, D to C, D to D. Self loop, then D to E. So there are edges to all the vertices, including that same vertex. So put 1 for all the values corresponding to vertex D. Got it? Now for E. From E, where the edges go, E to B and then E to D only. So put it as 1. For the remaining values, you have to put it as 0. Okay, listen carefully. I will give one problem to solve. Hope you all have note and pen with you. Take these problems. Then you have to construct one more matrix. Okay. So far we saw this one is which kind of graph? It is directed or undirected? Undirected graph because there is no arrow mark at all. And also it is unweighted graph. Weight is also not there. Only edge is there. We have not assigned any values. But We can construct adjacency matrix for directed, undirected graph and weighted graph. For all the things it will differ in slight ways. Yes? Understood? So now we move on to directed graph. How you are going to construct the adjacency matrix for a directed graph. So far we saw only for undirected graph, but the matrix won't be same for directed and undirected graph, because you know the difference between directed and undirected. Here in undirected there is paths from A to B and also B to A, because there is no direction at all. But look at this one. Wait. One second. Yes. So here in undirected graph, there is path from A to B and also B to A. But in a directed graph, look at this second diagram. There is path only from A to B. There is no edge from B to A. It means that you have to put the value as 0 for that particular B and A. There is path only from A to B. So for vertex A, there is path to B. So put as 1. Similarly, is there any other path from A? There is path from A to C. So put it as 1. Remaining things, there are no path from A. You have to start from that particular vertex. No other path, so remaining values are 0. Now come to B vertex. Look at the edges that are leaving the particular node. I told about incoming edges and outgoing edges. You have to look at the outgoing edges only. That means forward direction. No need to confuse at all. So how many paths are there from B? From B there is an edge corresponding to what? Incident at E, and then one more edge pointing to D. Only E and D. So you have to put those values only as 1. Remaining values as 0. Yes. Now look at C. How many edges are leaving from C? Only one edge, C to D. So for the particular vertex C, its corresponding edge where it is going D. So C comma D value is 1. All other values are 0. Now look at vertex D. There is self loop. It means that what? There is path from D to itself. So D to D, put it as 1. Now look, is there any other path leaving D? So D to A, one edge is there, then D to E. So D to A, put it as 1, and D to E, put it as 1, other values are 0. Now come to the last vertex E. Is there any edge leaving from E? No edge at all. Only there is in degree for E. So put the values as 0. Got it? This is the way of constructing the adjacency matrix. Now look at this sentence. Here you have to put A of I comma j equal to 1 if there is an edge from Vi to Vj. I and j are what? Row and column. So first row 0 comma 0, 0 comma 1, 0 comma 2, like that. Then 1 comma 0, 1 comma 1, you know. So in this way you have to construct the matrix. Now I want to revise that in degree, out degree also, because you must be well known about this one. So what is the in degree for E here? How many node edges or incidents incoming to that particular vertex? In degree is what? 2. What? Yes, 2. What is out degree? There is no edge leaving from E, so out degree is 0. So 2 plus 0 equal to 2. So that is the total degree of E. So let me ask, what is the degree of A here? What is the degree of A? Anyone can unmute and tell, or Jasmine ma'am or Geetani ma'am, if anybody putting in chat, please tell.
Okay, ma'am.
3, ma'am.
Huh? What ma'am?
3, ma'am.
3. Yes, 3, good. So total degree is 3. Because what is the in degree for A? 1. Only one edge coming to A, 1 in degree. Out degree, 2 edges are leaving from A. Out degree is 2, so 1 plus 2. You have to add both in degree and out degree for calculating the degree of a particular vertex in a way, in a directed graph. Okay. So 3 is the degree of A. If all the vertices are having same degree, then that graph is called as what? Regular graph or a complete graph. I told just now. But here this is not a complete graph because E is having degree only 2, but A is having 3. At least if there is difference in any one vertex itself, then we can't call it as a regular graph. Okay. So in this way, we are constructing the adjacency matrix. So these are for undirected and directed graph. Now we are going to see how to construct adjacency matrix for weighted graph. Same thing only, instead of putting 0 and 1, instead of putting the value, 1, you have to put the corresponding weight of the particular edge. If there is no edge means you have to put it as 0. Yes. For all the self loops, you have to put it as 0. If there are no edge means, no direct edge means you have to put it as infinity, not 0. That is the small variation in a weighted graph. You look at this example, how many vertices are there? 7 vertices are there. So what will be the matrix? Order 7 by 7 matrix. I'm going to construct 7 by 7 matrix. So totally 49 values will be there. So write it in order. Don't change the order of the matrices. Okay. You can start from B, A, C, D, E, F, G also, but you are writing B, A, C, D like this means you have to write here also like this, B, A, C, D like this. Don't change the vertices order. Yes. Suppose in some examples they might give the source vertex also. Suppose assume the D as the source vertex, they can give it specifically. So you can start from D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Like that you can consider. It's not at all a matter. Okay, but putting the values is important. Yes. So for the weighted graph, there is no path from A to A. There is no path from B to B. Now first check whether self loop is there. There is no self loop at all. Okay, don't be possible. So put all the values. So see the diagonal values. This is the diagonal matrix. So you can directly first put all the self loop value as 0 because there is no path from A to itself. No path from B to B, C to C. So put it as 0. Now check how many edges are passing from A. This is weighted but undirected graph. Okay. So from A to B and then A to 6. A to B, what is the value here? 3. Previously what we saw, if there is path from A to B means we are putting value as 1 in an unweighted graph. But here weight is given directly. So put it as 3. Then A to C, what is the value assigned here? 6. There are no other edges from A. You have to check from A only. We can reach D through B, but there is no edge from A to D. So make it as infinity. It's not 0, infinity. Only for self loops. If there is absence of self loop means put it as 0. If there is no edge to any other vertex means put it as infinity. This condition is applicable for weighted graph. Okay. Now you can see the next node, B. How many edges are there? Or you can write it in other way also. What are the adjacent nodes to B? How many nodes are adjacent to B? D, A, and then C. You can see that D, A, and C. So for D, what is the value? 4. For A, what is the value? 3. And then for C, 2. Remaining, put it as infinity. To avoid confusion only, I told you to first fill the diagonal values. Okay, otherwise by mistake you might put some weights or you might put some infinity value. It will become wrong. Okay, so first fill the diagonals. Then if there is path means you put that weight If there is no path means put it as infinity. Hope you understood. Let me go directly to E node. How many nodes are adjacent to E here? Many nodes. Nearby nodes are what? C, D, F and G for E. So come to this particular E, C, D, F and G. So put the corresponding weight. E to D, 2 is there, so put it as 2. Like that you have to fill the matrix. From F only 2 nodes are adjacent. C and G are adjacent. Am I right? From F. Yes.
E2, ma'am.
C, G, yes, E. E is also there. C, G and then E. So from F you are going to fill 3 values. Self loop is 0. Remaining values are infinity. Got it? So you are able to find the adjacency matrix for what? Undirected graph, directed graph and then weighted graph. Directed graph, if there is only, if the edge is leaving the particular node, there is an edge from one node to other node, put it as 1. The reverse is not at all possible. Understand that one. In weighted, you have to put infinite if there is no path. Yes? Make it fast. Note down this graph. You start from W. I just construct the matrix W, X, Y, Z as rows and W, X, Y, Z as columns. Now tell me what will be the matrix, or I will give 1 minute time, then we will discuss. We first construct. Think and do. Here weight is not given as numbers. In that situation, you should not put A, B like that. In a weighted graph, for this only I told you have to put numbers only. Here, if there is edge means put as 1. Put it as 1. No need to put infinity and all, just assume that simple adjacency matrix. You have to put either 0 or 1 here. I gave the clue also. Finished? Now let me come to that chat box. Can anyone fill the first row values? Just put the first row values for the node corresponding to W. You can put it in chat. First row values. What will be the values? Make it fast. Jagadeep. Okay, Logit Kumar, Jagadeep. Anyone? Unmute and tell the answer. Jagadeep, are you there? No, others, you can put your answers in chat. What is the first row values? For example, 0, 0, 1, like that. Now, Shakti Sri, I told you should not put the values as A, B. The matrix should be, it should contain only zeros and ones. In that weighted graph, the value is assigned as integer. Yes, no problem. Just make it clear. So I got the answer 0, 1, 1, 0. Yes, very good. If others are getting that answer, okay, well and good. Now put for second row. 0, 1, 1, 0 is the correct answer for the first row. Now put for second row. Put the values for second row. If anybody getting different value, we will discuss later. So 1, 0. Any other answer? Think differently. Just think out of box. Yes, Shrutika, very good. 1, 0, 2, 0. For this only I put that problem. Okay, I will explain now. Now, what is the third row value? Make it fast. Whatever answer you are getting, put it in chat. No problem. We'll discuss. 1, 2, 0, 1. Good. And the last row, fourth row. Only few are responding. 0. No. Last row. 0010. It's not 0001. Check it now. 0010. Yes, good. Okay, we come back to this one. So you started with the vertex what? W. WXYZ, WXYZ. I think there is no confusion in the first row. W to W, there is no path. How many paths are there? From W to X, one path is there. W to Y. Here, look, the weight is not given in the numeric value. For a weighted graph, if the values are given as integer integer only, you have to put it in the matrix. Otherwise, just check if there is path means put it as 1. Otherwise, 0. Yes. Now look at the second row. From X, how many paths are there? X to W, one path. Now look at this one. X to Y, there are 2 paths. 2 paths are possible. So from X to Y, you are having edge as C. From Y to X, you are having another edge named what? D. So there are 2 paths, so you have to put it as 2. Okay, this will be a rare question only, but you have to remember this also. If there is edge means don't put only 1. If how many edges are there? Similarly, from Y to X, 2 edges are there, so put it as 2. For other things, same concept only. Either put 0 or 1. Got it? So that is the adjacency matrix. Now we move on to next one, this one. Adjacency list, let's see. Then we'll see the incidence matrix later. Because you will get confused if you see both the matrix together. So your second representation is adjacency list. We all saw the linked list concept in the first unit. A linked list means what? It contains a series of nodes. One node connected to another node. That is the address of the next node will be present in the first node address. Like that you are having all the nodes. I hope you remember. Just revise the list concept. Same list concept only we are going to use here. Yes, you can look at the diagram. No need to look at that definitions and all. We will see it later. So here, look at this matrix. So look at the graph. You are having 6 vertices. Yes, write all the 6 vertices like this. No need to look at this second part. Just write how many vertices are there. Write it one by one vertically in a rectangle box like this. Now you have to find the adjacent nodes because the name itself is what? Adjacency list. Suppose if I am having more than 2 nodes as adjacent nodes means those adjacent nodes to be connected as list. That's all. That is called as adjacency list. Okay, let's see that example first, then we move to the definitions. So now look at the adjacent nodes of 1. How many nodes are adjacent to 1? This is a directed graph. So look at carefully. So how many nodes are adjacent to 1? 1?
0, ma'am. 2, ma'am.
0? No, 2. 2 and 4 are adjacent. Yes, two nodes are adjacent to 1. Okay, so you have to write 2 and 4 in a sequential way. So you can put this 2 and 4, it can be in reverse order also, but let's follow that ascending order. So put 2 as one node that is adjacent to 1. Then what is the next node adjacent to 1? 4. Put it as a linked list. There are no other nodes, only 2 and 4 are adjacent. So put the last node address as null. This slash symbol, backward slash denotes what? Null. It means that it denotes the end of the list. Linked list. So if the artha enna 1 la indu 2 connect agudhu, it's not the meaning that 2 is connected to 4. Okay va, and mari pata inga diagram la thappa irukum. 2 is not connected to 4, only 4 is connected to 2. So what is the meaning here? Means the adjacent nodes of 1 are connected as linked list. That's all. Now come to 2. How many nodes are adjacent to 2? In a directed graph, 1. Good. In a directed graph, just see how many edges are leaving. எத்தனை edge வெளியில போகுது, எந்த நோடுக்கு போகுது, அதுதான் adjacent node. ஓகேவா? ஈஸியா சிம்பிளா ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கலாம். So 2 ல இருந்து ஒரே ஒரு edge தான் வெளியில வந்திருக்கு, எந்த நோடுக்கு? 5. So 5 is the adjacent node, so put only 5. Just make it as a list and put the address as null because there are no more nodes. Okay. Then for 3. For 3, how many nodes are adjacent? 2 nodes. Yes. 5 and 6. Here, I told already. You can write it as 6 and 5 also. It's not a problem. Okay. Meaning is same only. 3 connected to 6, 6 connected to 5. That is all the adjacent nodes are represented as linked list. So this representation is called as adjacency list. From 4, only one node is adjacent, 2. From 5, there is only one adjacent node, 4 is there. From 6, there is only one node, that is self loop is there. So you have to make 6 itself. Don't think that for 6 no nodes, so just you have to leave like that. Self loop is present, so you have to make that also specifically. Suppose if the self loop is not there, means how you have to draw, means you have to make it as null directly. Okay, sorry. So from 6, you have to directly make it as null. Okay. So this is a way of representing the adjacency list. Now you can see a graph containing m vertices and n edges represented using linked list. The number of vertices in a graph form a singly linked list. So this is your singly linked list for each one. So each vertex has a separate linked list with nodes equal to the number of edges connected from the corresponding vertex. Each node has 2 fields, vertex field and the link. This is your vertex. 2 is the vertex name. And the link pointing to the next adjacent vertex. Like that you have to move. Yes, you can construct the adjacency matrix for this also. For the same graph, this is the adjacency matrix. 6 by 6 matrix is there. Yes, I think with this I'll stop. I want to play that remaining part of that video. Are you interested to watch the video or shall I continue this one? It's your choice. Yes, ma'am, for what? Video. Okay. So last class we saw that the wolf, then what? Wolf, sheep, cabbage puzzle. In the
cabbage.
Yeah, how the graph is represented. Let's watch the remaining part of the video. So with this I have stopped. Yes, you are able to have different states. These are all the different states. First, all the 3 things are in the same side of the river, that person. So initially, he is carrying the sheep to the next part, like that. All the different states are there. He has mentioned that though the graph is connected, this is not a connected graph because you are coming in the reverse direction also. You can watch it.
One where everyone is on one side of the river
From there, we can only go to state 2 because we can't leave the wolf with the sheep.
Yes, I will.
Is a choice. He can either go to state 9 and take the wolf across, or he can go to state 6 and take the sheep across. From there, both routes have just one state they can go to until they converge together on state 5. And finally, they end up in the desired state. What we drew here is a simple graph, and it clearly shows us that there are two solutions to our puzzle. Now, it's important to note that this is not a directed graph, even though I used arrows to connect two nodes together. We can always move back and forth between states, but doing that won't get us any closer to the desired end state. So we solved our puzzle by using graph theory, but where did it come from? Well, it started in 1736 when Leonhard Euler became fascinated by a game that the citizens of Königsberg were playing. The city is built around the river and had 7 bridges that connected the different parts of the city together. Citizens were trying to walk around the city by crossing all 7 bridges, but never crossing the same bridge twice. Euler wanted to solve the problem by using mathematics, and he started by reformulating the problem in more abstract terms. He stripped away all of the information that isn't necessary, like for instance the path you take on land. Only the sequence of bridges you cross is important. So you could translate the city into this graph where each node represents a landmass and the edges represent the bridges between them. Euler also realized that each node in the graph needs an even number of edges for the puzzle to be solved. The number of edges that a node has is called its degree, and it makes a lot of sense that these have to be even to solve the puzzle. When there are 2 bridges towards a particular part of the city, you need 2 other bridges to leave it again if you want to travel across each bridge just once. However, not all of the nodes need to have an even degree. If you have nodes with an odd degree, then your path has to begin at one of them and end at the other. In this particular situation, there are 4 nodes with an odd degree, so you cannot walk across the city and only cross each bridge once. Our puzzle has no solution, and Euler was the first to prove it mathematically. Because his work kickstarted the field of graph theory, other researchers gave a name to the path that goes through all of the edges without visiting the same edge twice, a Eulerian path or Euler walk. One interesting side fact, here we are visualizing a graph by using circles and lines to represent nodes and edges. The way you represent them, however, is not important, and in fact, visualizations aren't even necessary when studying graphs. Euler himself didn't draw any graph in his original paper. Kind of a bummer that we can't solve the Königsberg problem. However, since Euler's paper, the city has changed substantially. During a bombing in World War II, 2 of the 7 bridges were destroyed, and later 2 others were demolished. An updated graph representation would now look like this. 2 of the nodes now have a degree of 2, while the remaining nodes have a degree of 3. That means that we can now walk across all of the bridges without crossing the same bridge twice. That is, if we begin on one island and end on the other. So with graph theory, we can solve transportation puzzles.
Yes. So you are able to know about the famous personality Euler. We can call it as Euler also. In maths, you might have crossed Euler's theorem. So he is closely related to graph concept also because he has created the Euler circuit. We will see it's in the syllabus also. You are having the Euler circuit. You can pronounce it as either Euler or Euler. Euler's theory. He is a famous mathematician, physician, astronomer, and engineer. You can Google it and you can see some more interesting facts also. He has used the graph theory for solving that particular, that is to travel all the places through the bridges. Okay. So with this, I will stop this today's session. If you have any doubts, you can ask. We will discuss that third representation in the next class. It's not that much complicated. It's similar to adjacency matrix only, incidence matrix. We'll discuss in the next class. With this, the representation and types of graph over. Any doubts, students? If not, we will just revise that 1 minute. We'll spare 1 minute for the IAT 2. Okay, thank you.